Okay, perfect. Welcome back to the business channel. My name's Sandy Rose. I run a marketing agency here in Australia. Let's just jump straight into it. So here are 6 problems that brokers and real estate agents have that's stopping them from getting the high value leads. So it actually comes down to 6 simple factors. And no matter the way you look at it, it all results down to the exact same things. Invisibility, one size fits all, speed to lead, the friction. I don't know, you might be thinking, oh, friction, but it's just going to add more difficulty. Wait, let me explain this. Filtering system and also your portal dependencies. So firstly, let's actually just target invisibility. Most of the agencies just focus on the local SEO. Yes, the local SEO will get you in as far as what you need. Obviously, if you're focusing on like a first home buyers who wants to buy locally in the area, but the only thing is with the local SEO, you're not actually focused on the buyers who want to buy, who live over in Bundaberg and want to buy in Brisbane, or let's just say who live in Gold Coast or Sydney or Melbourne and want to buy in a different state. That's the biggest problem. Most SEO is all done locally. Yes, you will be at the top of Google. Yes, you will be at the top of that platform, but remember, it's all done locally. So that means that you are invisible to anyone who's not locally looking for that place, who's not locally in that area, or is not zoned in. Let's just say, for example, like Bargara. So if let's just say I'm looking for a house in Bargara, no one's actually going to know unless they're actually focused on that, because the only way they're going to know is through getting exposure first, and then they're going to know once they're actually locally locked in. Also, as well, I see this a lot. Not a lot of people are focusing on their personal brand, nor on the marketing of their agency. Most of you guys are just focused on, or even let's just say the brokerage, most of you guys are just focused on doing the sales, getting in and out, building up those relationships, being more of like a BDM, not really focusing on your personal brand, because your personal brand plays more of an important part than what you guys think. Also, if you guys want to learn more, and if you guys want to see how I can basically transform you as let's just say a real estate agent, broker, or a lending firm, or a brokerage, real estate agency or lending firm, from basically doing, let's just say 50, 100K a month, and then bring you an extra 10 to 60K of deals worth a month through qualified booked calls, I can show you how. So yeah, click the link below in the description, sign up, claim a free call, and then we can go from there. But also the thing is that I'm telling you to focus on your content, because yes, content gets you so far, but also remember, people have got to relate to you. When you have your personal brand, when you have obviously your sales side, when you have your BDMs, when you have all those different elements, and even let's just say when it comes to the agency, people got to know everyone individually. I reckon the best thing that you can do is have your agency out there, and then have every single person who is within that agency or within that area who has a personal brand. The reason why I'm saying it, because then you've got the marketing of the individuals, even if they're down at admin, even if they're down, doing whatever, because as long as they know them, they're going to understand, okay, sweet, I already know this person, I've already seen this person's content, I've already got an understood of the day of the life, I've already understood, what the agency runs like, what the brokerage runs like, what these people interact like. And it's going to make such a huge difference, because when you focus on the content, when you focus on the organic, once you focus on the reels, the shorts, YouTube, like what I'm doing right now, you actually get to know the person individually. You get to know and understand, okay, what do they like? How do they act in certain situations? What do they say? What do they think? Why do they think that way? And obviously then you're going to understand, oh, do I resonate with this person? Do I not? Does this guy actually work well with me? Does it not? And then you just understand all these little different elements. And also you're going to go much further ahead, because if you focus on the content and personal brand, you're going to go much, much further ahead, especially when you focus on those, because people know who you are. And obviously when you do more YouTube, when you do more TikToks, when you do more whatever, like I've seen a lot of brokers or lending groups out there starting to get more involved in TikTok. Yes, TikTok is great for brand awareness, but you will lose a lot of people there, because A, you're only going to get first time buyers. B, I have never seen any investors nor any high quality leads off TikTok. That's where you use Instagram. Facebook, Facebook has sort of lost its touch, but Facebook can still be a goldmine if you know what groups you need to look in, if you know how to exactly target your ads. Same thing with, not target your ads, target your organic content, and if you know how to more so get people. Yes, there are some high quality leads on Facebook, but you get the most through Instagram, LinkedIn, and also through obviously emails, but obviously you need to get their email first, and there's more of that in-person exchange, or let's just say they come from YouTube or Instagram, and then they end up booking in a call, or even want to have a bit of a one-on-one consult with you. So yeah, that's why you need to focus on your content. Then from there, you need to have specific landing pages for the places that you sell it. Let's just say, for example, you want to go for, like, let's just say Bargara. What about that area makes people want to buy? What drags people in? Think about the buying cycle. Okay, so you're getting completely cold strangers interested. Let's just say you get people all the way from over in Whoop Whoop, or let's just say from China. What gets them to buy? Think about it. What gets them to buy? What specifically about Bargara gets them to buy? Because that's going to be an important element, especially when you're starting to sell. Because the thing you got to do is just people got to understand that area. People got to know, why do they want to live there? What's the culture like? And you got to basically, from all your other people you've worked with who basically bought in that area, you got to also show them. Think of it like your landing page is like your digital salesperson. Why do they want to buy there? Why do they not want to buy there? What are you putting in place to filter them in or out? And also we'll go through down that a little bit more. Also, when it comes to the brokerage side of things, this is also when it works very, very well. Let's just say you're in Bundy, Gold Coast, Brisbane, whatever. Main types of businesses, let's just say Bundy. Bundy's a perfect example, the mix between like Cairns and Rockhampton and Brisbane. The main targets and the main groups you want to be focusing on is tradies and farmers. Whereas, let's just say you want to focus on Gold Coast, more focus on tradies and more of the high-end sort of firms. Let's just say you want to go for a sales firm, or if you want to go for a marketing firm, whatever. Focus on them because you know that they've already got deals in play. You know that they've already got stuff in play, especially when it comes to anything that comes to either engineering, farming, trades, or anything to do with that whole hands-on experience, because you know people are going to want loans. You know people are going to want, that specific type of things. And if they even ask you like, oh yeah, I can help you out with this too, or no, I don't, let's just say focus on the consumer side, then I can then move you over to someone else who can help you out in that area. This is also when we go on to the portal dependencies and also the signs. So I know you guys might be thinking, we use our portals all the time. Yes, I understand it's important, but there's also a massive problem with that. If you only depend on one source, and how to actually properly do it, you're going to lose out a lot of people, because not a lot of people know these portals. Let's just say you want to look for someone who hasn't been in real estate, because I've been looking at real estate since the age of about 14, 15. Let's just say you don't know someone who knows about real estate. Yes, realestate.com shows up all the time in ads, but that's very, very limited. Think about it. How many people do you reckon actually click on the link? Seriously, think about it. How many people do you reckon actually click on the link? So what can you do to get your face out there? How can you target basically business owners who want to buy, let's just say, a commercial lot, investors who want to even target, let's just say, investment properties, or even want to basically borrow, so then they can then put themselves in a better position, so then they can then move that cash flow over to a different business and do X, Y, Z. Or resi, what do you need to do for like a residential house? You obviously need a different different marketing type than what you do for a business owner, investor, or a first-time buyer. What do you do? And also, how do you get into first-time buyers? And this is why I say it is very, very important, because no one's going to know who you are. Like, honestly, because I've just been scraping leads at the moment, I didn't know who half the real estate agents were, because I go back and forth between Bundy and Brisbane all the time. I didn't even know who half the real estate agents were, even in Gold Coast. So the thing you need to use, and the thing you need to use the most prominently, is organic, paid, and then you need to have an email system to nurture them. The reason why I'm saying this is you need to only focus on 2 organic. My personal favorite is YouTube and with Instagram. Obviously, more so on my agency side where you'll be seeing this. LinkedIn is another big one for me. I focus on those 3 entirely. That's it. Think about it. Okay, so let's just say we're going for an investor. Let's just say we're a business owner going for an investor. Real estate agent or a broker going for an investor who wants to borrow money. Okay, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? What are we going to do? How do we need to target the ads that actually speak to that person? Because the thing is, you're not actually going to understand. You're not going to see. You're not going to be able to help them if they don't know that you're speaking to them. Because remember, the most important thing about content is that it's made to solve one particular problem. That's why you say content. That's why you do the content. And every single bit of content should be able to solve one particular problem. That's the thing. That's why we use organic. Basically, speak to the audience, make it something you also enjoy, because you also need to enjoy speaking to that person. So you need to make sure it's also set onto that ICP, which is, as you know, the ideal customer profile, which is by far one of the most important things. So make sure whoever you target, whoever it is, focus on that ICP, because then it's going to make a huge difference as well when it comes to, you know, not trying to basically just focus on, hey, can I get this number? Can I get this number? Can I talk to this person? You know, just basically running around trying to find leads, or, you know, trying to get leads that come in organically, not come in organically, come in inbound, who want to see for like an open home, or who go to the landing page and be like, oh, I want to borrow this, I want to do this. This is the part that is going to make the big difference. Once you focus on your ICP, once you speak to them, once you speak to their problems, what pain, what fear, what desire do they have? Where do they want to go? Because the thing is, like for me, I only work with people who make between 8 to 10 grand a month minimum. The reason why I do that is because they're the only people who can afford my services. But the thing is, why I'm saying that, you need to have your organic speaking to that problem. And then especially when it comes to the paid stuff, make it like the organic stuff, because the paid ads engine is turning right into the organic engine. What performs well organically is performing well on the paid. And also, the good thing is once you start to lock in, and once you start to get more email, once you start to get more people in, and once you start to get more emails, then you can know to them, okay, sweet, we've got an open home. Instead of just delivering out flyers. Yes, the flyers are like physical, but honestly, who reads the flyers? Like, unless you're like, let's just say 80 who are looking to sell a house, or let's just say, you know, you're thinking, oh, who actually looked at a flyer? Yes, it's like, you know, it's there. Yes, it's an important bit of advertising. It's more so just a reminder of, hey, you know, I'm here. You know, I haven't disappeared. I haven't gone anywhere. Obviously, I do know the importance of that, but there's got to be better ways. And that's why, even one of my favorite things, even though a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of this, one of my favorite things is signs, because people know where you are. Let's just say have them one spot in town. Let's just say, okay, let's just say we have them in certain areas in Brisbane. Let's just say only target, let's just say Ascot. Let's just say only target Ascot. What are you going to do? How are you going to target them? And let's just say even for the brokerage signs, say, hey, we do asset finance, or hey, we do mortgages, and we specialize in this area because we know this area like the back of our hand. Because why? This is also better, because also with them dealing with property, with them dealing with all these other like ATO portals and all this other sort of fun stuff, it will save them time. It will save them the effort. It will basically make sure their life is a lot more easier. And also, this is the best part. Once you combine organic, once you combine paid, once you also combine an email system, because you're also gonna have their phone number as well, remember that. What are you gonna do to intercept them within their buyer's journey? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna appear out to be like, okay, cool, I wanna provide you some free value. What am I gonna say? How could I position my message? What pain are they going through? We'll get onto this in the next section, but what pain are they going through? What do they want to do? Do they want to buy? Do they want to sell? Or what? Are they looking for a brand new car? Are they looking to buy a house? Think about it. What pain are they in? Because currently we know, currently we know what's happening. It's obviously inflation's going through the roof. We've obviously hit hyperinflation. Okay, so what are most people still going to want to do? Especially people around about my age. So I'm only 21. But most people my age are going to want to buy a house or buy a new car. Like I had one kid who I went to school with, one guy I went to school with, he ended up buying a car and a jet ski, which cost him about 60 grand. And he's a year younger than me, so he's 20 now. Think about how long it's going to take him to pay it off. Look, yes, they're both pleasure assets, but also think about it. He's like a four-wheel driver. He loves his camping, he loves his boating, he loves his fishing. You can do all of this stuff. And also, what are you saying? Who are you targeting? And make sure the most important thing you can do, obviously besides making sure that your organic paid and your email system speak to an individual, is separating. Okay, so I got one piece of content who speaks to an investor. I got one ad who speaks to an investor, and I got one email who speaks to an investor. And make sure it's consistent, because it's like a consistent reminder. It's also about, remember, it's also about what you know. Because if you just keep on going top of brain, they're gonna wanna buy from you because you're consistently in their face. Yes, it's gonna be annoying, but who cares? That's the best part about sales. But also, you gotta realize, how can you intercept the journey? And this is why I say this is probably one of the most important parts. How can you intercept the journey? Then what part of the buy cycle are they along? Are they in currently problem aware? Are they trying to figure out what they want to do? Or are they just unaware of their problems? Because most people, especially most people within the marketing aspect, only target the hot market, only target the 3% who want something today. Here's the thing, 99% of marketing agencies only target that 3%. What can you do to target people who are problem unaware? What can you do to target people who don't know that they have a problem? Think about it. Okay, what has your best buyers been who didn't know that they wanted to sell or didn't know that they wanted to buy? And they're like, oh, sweet, I love this house, I want to buy, I just want to look in it. What did you do? What did you say? Or even let's just say you ask someone, hey, I know you're doing this project, but would you mind, are you looking to buy any more? Because I know this has helped out with XYZ customer. Think about the examples, think about how you can help them. And this is when it goes up to the next part. Obviously helping them along the buyer cycle, but also this is where it comes to my favorite part of the actual sales process, which is the triage. The triage and the qualification process is the best part because you help them understand their pain. You also increase their pain, but yet you don't get them ready to be sold. You get them in that middle stage where they know that they are problem aware enough to want to buy, but they can't act on it. Think about it. It's like an urge you can't, it's like an itch you can't scratch. That's my favorite part about triaging. And then obviously it goes to the close when they buy, when they end up buying from you. And then my personal favorite, my second favorite part is a referral system. Once they close, ask them, hey, do you know any other business owners? Hey, do you know anyone else who's interested in buying a house? Hey, do you know anyone who needs possibly a new car, who wants a new house, or doesn't know what to do, or doesn't know who to ask for help for? So remember that is one of the most important part is referral systems, because this can as simply 3 times your deals. I know it's quite a bit. And also the next part, which is also following up from this, is the filtering system. Filtering system is probably one of the most important things you can do, because the thing is you don't want to sell to anyone. The reason why I'm making this video is to sell to literally only brokers and real estate agents, because I know them, because I've been one. I understand that. I understand the world that you've been in. I understand the problems that you guys have. Chasing your tail around, trying to get leads, trying to get the new KPIs trying to hit your KPIs. I understand the problems you've been through. And also I've been on the phones as well as a broker. I understand what the problems are. The thing is, most brokers have this problem of trying to sell to everyone, not having specific type of people who they are selling to. Okay, so you need to understand your ICP. You need to understand the area. Okay, so where's my ICP? Who is my ICP? Where is my ICP located? Yes, it can be multiple areas, but what is my ICP? Let's just say it's first home buyers. First home buyers, what makes them then high quality? What's the difference between, let's just say someone who's, let's just say makes 60K a year and has 150K saved up compared to 60K a year and is 50K in debt? What's the difference? How can you make the ads proper for the high quality? Because also remember as well, let's just say you're targeting first home buyers. A lot of the first home buyers who have that 150K, or even let's just say at the age of 22, 24, they're gonna be more risk reserve. More limited on their risk. What can you say? What can you do? How can you make the process a lot less frictionless to moving forward? And also this is why I say you need a filtering system, because let's just say if you're making only content or only ads that target at these guys, what can you say? What can you do? Or even let's just say, for example, you want to target at a business owner who's making $50 million a year. Okay, perfect. What problem do they have? What asset do they want? How can you make their life easier? Because remember, their biggest problem is time. So they don't have this much time to watch a half an hour video. They will, obviously, if it provides enough value to them or if it can help them out. So think about it. What? Is it 7, 8 minute videos? Also, what is your time as well? Time. And also, who are you targeting? Because everyone says they have no time, no matter how rich, no matter how poor. You got to realize, you got to know who you're targeting. You got to hook them in. You got to grab the point. This is also when it goes to, what does their ideal day look like? What does their normal day look like? And also, what does their bad day look like? Like a terrible day look like? You've got to basically come up with that. You've got to basically understand. You've got to essentially stalk your client so you understand, okay, cool, this is what a perfect day looks like. This is what a good day looks like. This is what a bad day looks like. How can I make it in such a way where I can not get out of their face, where I'm like, okay, even during the bad days, they want to buy. Even during the good days, they want to buy. Let's just say their nan just died, and then I get them to a stage where they want to buy. Obviously, not ideal situation. We're just using it for an example. But you need to understand them deeply. You need to understand them on such a core level that you can understand, what do they do? When do they go to the gym? When do they pick up their kids? Who do they talk to? What do they say? And how do they think? It's all these little psychological elements which obviously you need to understand, because if you don't understand your ICP at such a core level, they're not going to want to buy because they don't feel like they're heard. They don't feel like they're understood. That's the biggest element. And also, how can you create the ideal situation for them to buy or sell? This also comes up to like the real estate side of things, or even let's just say they want to basically sell a house and then I can buy another one for like a broker. How can you create the urgency to want to buy and sell? Also, it's pretty simple for real estate because there's a few different ways how we can do this. One of my favorite ways is literally just by asking people, handing out flyers, or even saying, hey mate, do you want to have a quick chat? Or even going like, hey, I saw this area's up in the market. Hey, would you mind having a quick chat for me for like 2-3 minutes? And then it turns into a half an hour conversation, because then you figure out if people want to buy, people want to sell. And then you figure out what are their needs, what do they want, what are they struggling with? That's the thing. You understand them. You understand what do they want. And obviously that's how you can get more sales, because I know as you guys as real estate agents, you guys get more commission when you end up getting a house that sells. Well, when you turn into a house that wasn't for sale, turns it for sale, and then someone buys it, you get more commission. And also the good thing is that you guys can work together. Good thing is a broker and a real estate agent can work together. It's literally like the dream team. I've seen it happen before, dream team. But yeah, this is when it goes up to the next part. Think about it. What are you trying to do to get them to buy? What? Let's just say is their car broken down. How are you going to get them to buy? Why are they going to choose you? What? Is it just because they saw your face? Okay, well think about why do they want to choose you? Then this is also when it goes to the next part. What can you say and do in all situations to make sure your ICP buys? Because even they could just be flicking through YouTube and then are like, oh, I want to sell my house. Oh, I want to buy. Figure that out. Well, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but figure that out. Because every single ICP is different. Let's just say you want to target, let's just say an asset finance client, or even like a machinery client, or even like a farming client, or let's just say someone who wants to buy a property. Think about what makes them tick, what makes them want to buy, what makes them want to sell. And obviously, if you guys want to work with me, click the link down below in the description. You can claim your free strategy call. We can have a bit of a quick chat and see how I can help you out. But let's just jump straight back into it. So obviously, this is when it goes to the most important part. So yes, I know I said filtering systems, but now this is pretty awesome. I love friction. Because obviously due to the ticket size, people are going to be more iffy on if they want to buy, if they want to sell. So this is when you need to figure out, how can I create good friction? Like for example, do you only work with people who are ABN holders who want to work with you? Okay, how can we provide more friction? And then also, how can you get them to trust you? And also this is the perfect part. This is what I was telling you earlier. You need organic content. You also need paid content. You need this whole system, because then let's just say you get a random stranger from the internet. Let's just say I'm the random stranger from the internet. Never seen me, never heard of me before. But you end up buying after the first video. Okay, think about it. Why did you buy? What even made you click on the video? What intrigued you? What made you think, oh, I need to listen to a 21-year-old tell me how to market and how to do sales properly? Yeah, think about it. And then, what got you to click that Calendly button? Then after that, what email processes, what sales processes got them to actually want me to buy? What follow-up processes? Did they have a triage? Did they have this? Did they have that? Think about every single little element that they've had incorporated throughout the customer journey. Because every single touch point is at least meaning of $100 if you think about it. Or let's just say even 50. Because I mean, relatively along the whole customer journey, it's going to make a huge difference. Like, let's just say, like yesterday, I messaged a guy, and then he ended up messaging another guy within my agency, and then look, he's looking to convert soon. So simple as. So how can you build? How can you build that trust as soon as possible without breaking it? That's the most important part, without breaking it. And this is also when we go up to the next part. You need to create something in your calendar that has more filtering. You need to have more friction. Okay, what? So they're only earning between 8 to 15K a month. Or let's just say they're only earning 25K a month. Okay, what are you going to say? What, do they at least have $50,000 in their bank? Or do they run a business producing this amount? Because I will not work with anyone outside of this. And this makes your life easier. Because the reason why I do what I do is because I focus on helping you guys get the best quality leads without having to deal with all this other iffy, oh, I think about it, oh, maybe I want to cry, blah, blah, blah. The leads who just can't make up their mind. Okay, but this is what I'm telling you, because I want to get you guys qualified leads. So what questions can you say? What questions disqualify them? Okay. Also, if they do slip through the cracks, what can you do to disqualify them before they book in a call? That is the most important part, because the whole thing is we don't disqualify everyone. We disqualify people who don't fit our individual ICP. Also, even simply, who's on your website? What is your landing page or digital salesperson looking like? What makes that person want to buy? What makes them tick? Also, what does your personal brand look like? What does your agency look like on Instagram and YouTube, or even LinkedIn? Like, what gets someone who wants to buy from you? Also, one of the most important things, like, I've used more sophisticated language because you guys are sales reps, you guys are BDMs, you guys understand this sort of stuff, but I wouldn't be using it for the average person. So what grade of language are you using? Because I wouldn't be using the same language, let's just say if I wanted to get someone who's a B2C client. I'll be using very basic English, very to the point, but also that little bit of that neutrality to it. Whereas, let's just say with you guys, I'm more logic, I'm more, and whereas, how are you going to use third grade language if you want to speak to someone who is like a first time buyer? How are you going to speak third grade language to someone who's like a trade business owner? Yes, I know there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but the thing is, more people are going to understand what you're talking about, and also eliminating the sophistication within your language is going to make such a massive difference as well, because then you're going to be able to basically get your point across, make everything a lot simpler, so then they can understand and they're like, oh, I get this. I don't need to ask any questions. This makes sense. Let me buy. Because I've also seen this myself. Whenever I've done ads and I've had too much sophistication within the language, it gets people not wanting to buy. It adds more resistance, it adds more friction, and it stops people even being interested in it. Okay, so what grade language are you willing to use? Obviously, you're going to use more like, let's just say even for like an investor, you'd still probably only use generally like 5th or 6th grade language, because they're more sophisticated. They know more nuances. Let's just say they know how to do coding. They know how to do Python's, like work with Python. They know how to deal with crypto. They know how to deal with all these different elements, and it's going to make such a massive difference. And that's why I say, once the friction is added, your ICP is going to be identified, which means your CPL is going to go up. And yes, that's not a bad thing. It's going to save you time and it's going to save you money. Also, it's going to increase your percentage to close. And this is when it gets to my favorite part. It increases your percentage to close, but it also means it's further qualifying, and also therefore in the next set of ads run after that, or that same set of ads, it reduces down your CPL because you know exactly who you are speaking to. An even better level, because you can understand, just record the sales calls, record everything you can, because then you're going to actually understand these people. What do they want? What do they don't want? How can they end up, getting help to move forward? How can you help them go from the customer journey? Let's just say they know they've got a problem. How can you help them to fix that problem? That's when you use your language, and that's when you get more specific with your language. And also, because you realize you're only speaking to one type of person, yes, your CPL is going to go up in the short term, but also your cost per lead is going to go down in the long term. Also, as I said, it's going to be a more targeted message. It's going to have more nuance to it. And this is when it goes to one of my favorite parts. This thing has saved me multiple times. It is speed to lead. How fast do you pick up the phone when you know you got a new lead? Honestly, how fast do you pick up the phone when you know you've got a new lead? Because it makes all the difference. If you do it within 60 seconds, they are 68% more likely to close. Also, if you think about it, the more and more you talk to someone while they are hot and ready, especially through inbound ads, especially through, let's just say they're walking through a home, or let's just say they walk into your building. As soon as you get on there and talk to them as soon as possible, it's going to make such a massive difference, and it's going to make them more likely to convert. Think about it. Honestly, if you know someone's interested, let's say I walk up to them, you know they're going to convert. You know they are going to convert. And also, this goes up to one other problem, which I see all too often, is a one-size-fits-all approach. I've seen people and real estate agents and brokerages not even using their CRMs. This is when you need to have everyone within your CRM, everyone who you speak to, everyone who breathes, who you know has like interest in buying property or doesn't have interest in buying property, because you never know. They could maybe see an ad. They could maybe see a bit of content which changes their mind about real estate, or even let's just say they want to buy a new car, but they're not sure. Okay, cool. Let's just say I spoke to you. I'm going to shoot you a quick message and then you can go from there. So yes, you should obviously have your name with your particular type of clients and your ICP. Yes, there should be one person, one message that you are talking to. Okay. You also need stuff like personal, and also you need to add also another thing. You need to make sure there is a personal or professional connection. Let's just say you guys play FIFA on the weekend. Or let's just say you've got kids who play soccer in the Little League. That could be a thing of interest. You could talk about that and then be like, oh, I've got a kid who's got the same thing. And then obviously go from there. Also, they got the high likelihood of coming back. Because if you think about it, how many people put that amount of effort into talking to them? Yeah, and also it saves you having to chase your tail. Because then they're like, even perfect example for my first client, like I used to be a massive Pokemon fan as a kid, and he just like talks about Pokemon cards, because all he wants to do is just buy, invest. You get the point. And even like, let's just say, because we run a business in the same, well, he runs a business within technically the same sort of area. He's also got that interest because his mates work in the similar fields as what I do. His mates are, there. And I'm just sort of like, okay, cool. Well, this, because the first thing I did was add that personal connection. I made that personal connection of, us being in Australia, us being in Brisbane. We also had the same thing that like a lot of people do have. Let's just say they don't like the woke agenda. They don't like, this was back in like 2022, but yeah, you get my point. You need to have something personal to connect with them. And also, it means they are gonna come back more. The more effort equals the better result. Remember that. That's just the basic rule of life. And also, when it comes to the next thing, you need to make sure you tag your people. Let's just say if you're on an agency or a brokerage, you need to make sure you just tag your people based on the leads, based on the business owners. How much do they produce per year? How many times do they want to borrow? How many times did they buy from you within 12 months? Because then it's going to give you a graph. And once you have data, it is going to be massively make your life easier. Also, this is also where you also incorporate the sales reps and VDMs, especially the ones who kill it with clients or the ones who have been there for a long period of time. Because it's going to make it then a lot easier. Okay, so this is also my personal opinion, what you should do, even what I've done within my own agency. Even though you are going to get basically like no results for the first 3 months, but then they start to pick up their skills. This is where it gets the best part. You need to make sure that your newest reps who have no experience have the toughest clients. But you need to make sure that your most experienced reps have the easiest clients, because then you're going to get a high conversion. And then you also hone your sales reps and your BDMs who are brand new to the game, who are brand new to the field, who are even brand new to sales. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Yes, they're going to deal with more clients. Yes, they're going to deal with, I want to quit this day. But also, remember, you're the business owner. You've already dealt with this. Or even let's just say you're a broker and you're basically dealing with the toughest client. It's also going to make your life easier later on. That's the most important part. Also, what sequences do you have for your leads? Okay, so once they enter into our little world, what do they see? What do they not see? How is their little world interpreted? What's going on? How are we going to help them move forward? How are we going to get them from, let's just say, entering in from nothing all the way into the main? How can we get them from literally going from nothing, having no idea who we are, being complete cold strangers, into getting them to buy? Because that's the most important part, because those leads are worth a metric ton. That is going to make all the difference once you can get someone cold into your world. Okay, sweet, I do my first step. And even this is why I tell you to do YouTube and organic content. Well, YouTube, paid ads, and emails. Because the more and more they see you, the more and more they're going to want to buy. Especially if it is tailored towards their problems. Because let's just say you went to the same job. Let's just say you worked at Macca's. Okay, perfect. Oh, you worked at Macca's. You lived in Melbourne. Okay, perfect. Dream situation. You went to a school over in Melbourne. You say that throughout your journey. You say that. Let's just say now you've moved to Sydney. Well, actually, Brisbane's going to be easy for me. Let's just say you live around Nudgee area. Okay, sweet. So let's just say we've got two individual types of people. One who's like, I live near Nudgee. Okay, cool. Let me be interested in this guy's story. Okay, cool. what got him to move here? What got him, it just pulls people in. And then also, it's like what I'm telling you, or let's just say you did Rowan, for example, who lives near Nudgee and he's from Melbourne and worked at Macca's, for example, even though this is just completely made up story. Probably someone in the audience has done this, but he's like, oh, he used to do the same sport that I do. Now he lives near the school that I grew up near. What is it like? And also, this is when it goes down to, oh, he had the same journey as what I did. Oh, he was maybe working at Macca's, or he was maybe born in Melbourne as well. Oh, we got more similarities. Oh, we got maybe more interest. And then you can just start the conversation from there, because it's more touch points. It is more content. It is more relatability. And let's just say even one day he pops up in your DMs, and then it can make your life a whole lot easier. But that's the thing that I'm telling you. Make sure that people know who you are. Make sure someone understands your story. And also, this is why I tell you, make sure you have sequences. Make sure you have workflows that will make your life easier. Let's just say the first time entering in the funnel. Okay, sweet, you got a welcome text. Let's just say, okay, sweet, you got a thank you page once you give us their email. And then you got a VSL, and then you got any questions. Just forward me questions, send me your number. We can have just a bit of a chat, maybe a 5-minute call, see what's going on. It just adds that more of that personal element, which what I've seen a lot, which is also what I've seen a lot of really, really good people with personal brands do, is just add that personal element. Obviously, I help you with your marketing. I run my own marketing agency, which helps businesses with that. But also I can help you out, let's say if you're a sales professional, BDM, whatever. But my point being is that it adds that touch. Also, like, because I'm working with a guy in Dubai at the moment. Well, yeah, working with him. It's like one video because he worked at the exact same company as one guy. That's why I said, go to Macca's. Then even if you look at like Orlando, I can't even pronounce his last name. He's had people who signed up who were in the same school with him, who literally worked at Macca's. Like, here's a perfect example as well. You need to show people your story. That helps people to relate, because remember, you guys might only think logically, but most of the decisions that people make within their minds are also emotional. Yes, it may be a logical decision. That's more so for the investors, but you still need to have that emotional backdrop. Let's just say it's 80% logical, 20% emotional, because then you guys then have that relatability, because with that emotional side, you can then have that relatability, and then they're going to want to buy. And also, that's why I say I live in Bundy. Like, Bundy is like one of the most least ambitious towns ever, because I know which person's audience I want to steal. I know the people who I want to work with. I know the people I don't want to work with. You also tailor and position it in a certain way that makes it even more relatable. Yes, you also add that nuance of adding that bit more of that charismatic douchebag sort of character. Yes, you do need that, because you do need hate. Because as much as you love having love, you do need hate, because you can't have love without hate. And that is also one of the most important parts. I know you're a broker, but no matter what you do, someone's going to hate you. So you might as well just be you. You might as well show them what you need to do. You might as well show them how you can help them out go from, point A to point B. And also, as I said, it's a more relatable story. This is also going to help you get better leads, because the more story elements that you have, the more ups and downs, the more adventures that you have, the more storytelling, the more people are going to want to buy from you. And once people want to buy from you, they're going to follow you. And even they don't care if it's a $6 million property. They want to buy from you because they can relate to you. They feel like they're heard. They feel like they've, been there. They feel like they've done that. And that's why obviously I came here from the brokering world into now marketing, because I understand you people. I've been literally in the trenches in a brokerage. I understand what you've been through. I've got a lot of mates and real estate agents who I know a fair bit of real estate agents. And also, if you think about it, probably about 12 to 15 people I went to school with are also now in real estate. So I also do have that background, and also it makes such a massive difference, because then you're actually able to understand. You can also understand the client's perspective, because also I've borrowed money before. If you think about it, that's why I tell you this stuff, because it just adds more relatability. And yes, as well, use everything you can as your own advantage. Everything in life is a double-edged sword, but everything in life is not. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. And also, if you guys need some more help when it comes to scaling your brokerage, real estate agent, or even if it comes to your lending firm, even if you are an agent or a broker, claim your free discovery call down below. We can have a quick chat, see if it works for you, and that's going to be it for me.